All right, how's everybody doing today? So, today we're going to start going over the PowerPoint here for chapter 25, give you my notes on this, and then we will uh, open up the test for you guys if you guys have any don't have any questions on it. As we go through this, I figure this will take about 2 to 3 recordings. I'm going to try to keep them under 20 minutes a shot, and then we can, or then if you have any questions, please just email them to me, add them in the comments, and I'll address them in the next video. A few of you guys have asked me about your weld procedure. All I did was pull the due date off that. The weld procedure is still due. Try to get it in here in the next week or so. I'm going to add a due date back in there. If you have any questions or need any extra resources on that, again, feel free to send me an email and we'll take care of it from there. A few of you guys have asked, why am I doing this instead of Zoom? Well, where I'm at, my internet is okay, but it's not 100% reliable for long periods of time. It'll be great for a while, and then all of a sudden, well, it just doesn't work. So instead of getting cut off in the middle of trying to bring everybody together for class, we'll do something like this, and that way you guys can watch it at your leisure. So let's get going. If you guys want to open up your PowerPoint, follow along, pause it till you get that up. That'll make this a lot easier for you. I don't have a screen or a projector that's the right size that I can stand in front of, so you'll have to kind of follow along with me. But very first slide we're going to start with will be the one that says quality control. Now, what is QC? Well, we all know that what quality control is just making sure that what we're putting out is a quality product. That what we say we're going to deliver and what we deliver are exactly the same thing. Now, we have a couple different ways that QC works. First thing we have is what's going to be called non-destructive testing. And that term's kind of gone out by the wayside because, well, NDT, we're not really testing anything. The more common term that you're going to hear is called NDI, and that's non-destructive inspection. The other term that we're going to use with this is destructive testing. We're going to talk about the difference between the two here in a bit. All right, next slide. Now this is a really big one to pay attention to. What is the difference between a discontinuity and a defect? Well, first off, every single weld, every single thing out there has a discontinuity to it. Okay? What a discontinuity is anything, and I mean anything, that disrupts the perfect flow of filler metal and base metal together. Now and when I say anything, that's exactly what I mean. It could even be micro imperfections in the structure of the weld. Could be anything from different types of inclusions, a non-standard distribution of the alloying elements inside the weld, pretty much anything. Okay? Now, that's what a discontinuity is. What a defect is when that discontinuity becomes so big that it interrupts the usability of that weld. Basically means that when we do this, we're going to have a problem and it's going to cause the weld to fail. So everything has discontinuities, and when discontinuities get bad enough that we can't use them anymore, that's when we have defects. Okay? Now, what makes it a defect? Well, that all depends on the code that we're welding to. You guys understand this, that not everything's got to be up to the same standards. I don't have to weld, say, a decorative guardrail to the exact same standards I do if I'm welding, say, nuclear steam pipe. And so your code, and depending on its usage and what materials we're using, is going to depend on what discontinuities become defects. And so go ahead, next slide. Now there's another PowerPoint I upload that goes over all these, but our 12 most common discontinuities are: we have porosity, and we'll define all these here in a bit. Inclusions, inadequate penetration, incomplete fusion, arc strikes, and arc strikes is something we're going to talk a little bit about because that one goes from sometimes it's absolute death to it's nothing. Overlap, undercut, cracks, underfill, and then our 3 base metal flaws, which will be laminations, delaminations, and laminar tears. Next slide. So, bunch of different code issuing agencies, and these are all their specialists in your various fields. You have like American Bureau of Shipping, API, American Petroleum Institute, American Welding Society, American Society of Mechanical Engineers, U.S. government, U.S. military, different railway organizations. I mean, anybody who's an expert in whatever field that they're making is going to have their own codes and standards. Yeah. Okay, there's another slide here, discontinuities found in joint types. We're actually going to skip that one because this one's not 100% accurate. There's ways you can get pretty much all these discontinuities into any given type of weld. They're just not real common. So, first one we're going to talk about here is porosity. And tell you what, I'm going to stop this right now and we'll switch over to that other PowerPoint and I'll give you a little rundown right there. So go ahead and open up that other PowerPoint and I'll have a second video for that.